Hello everyone and welcome to the 2022 Battle at the Bluestone course preview. We will start with the front nine. This course will be located at the Bluestone Industrial Park, 35512 Governor G.C. Perry Highway, North Tazewell, Virginia, just on the outskirts of Bluefield, Virginia. We will get started with hole 1. It is a par 3, short tee 204, long 250, and a drop zone of 116 feet. We will start with the view from the long tee. I will go ahead and apologize for the shaky video. I did not have access to a drone, and there's only so much you can do walking the course with a phone. Here is the view from the short tee. And we will start with a doozy here on hole 1. This will play as an island hole. You can see the light pole in the middle of your screen there. The basket will be located right behind the light pole, and that will play as an island. If you do miss that area, you will go right here to the drop zone at 116 feet, and you must land inside this island to be counted in bounds. Otherwise, you will add a stroke and throw from the drop zone. Again, the long tee is 250 feet, the short tee is 204, and we will give you a view here from the basket looking back toward the tee pads. Moving on to hole 2, be a par 3 also, short pad 217, long 268. Hole 2 is probably one of my favorite holes. You can see the view from the long tee here. And moving up, you will get a view from the short tee. This hole took a lot of work to accomplish, a lot of weed eating, so I'm pretty proud of this hole. You'll be shooting right over this valley here, and the basket will sit just a little long of the trees. I'm walking around because there's not a path cut through here. This is a great hole for a forehand player or a turnover backhand shot. Again, that's 217 feet from the short tee, 268 feet from the long tee. And on the right hand side, if you do happen to shoot over the basket, there is a lot of junk that can get you in trouble, so definitely want to end up on this side of the basket. There's where the stake is for the basket, and a look back at the tee pads. Moving on to hole 3 is a par 3 also. Short tee plays 132 feet, long tee is 192 feet. There's a view from the long tee. It is down in this little gully, and the basket will sit up by that tree that you can see off in the distance. Here's a view from the short tee pad. I will say the distance is a little tricky on this one. It does play a little longer than the actual distance due to it being down in this gully and having to throw up out of it. If you get your shot too low, you will end up in the hillside to the left. If you turn over a shot too much, there is plenty of weeds on the right hand side that can cause you some trouble. And there you see the stake for the basket. And we will get a view from the basket looking back toward the tee pads. Sit down in the valley there. Hole 4, also a par 3. There's only one tee pad for this hole. Everyone will throw from the same one. It's 280 feet across these weeds. The basket will sit off in your distance. If you do end up leaving your shot a little short, there is plenty of weeds to cause you some issues. Otherwise, it is a pretty straightforward shot. Just get out of the junk, and you have an open look at the basket. And there is where the basket will be located. And we will have a view from the basket back to the tee pad. Again, if you just miss that junk in the back, you will be golden. Hole 5, also par 3, 209 feet from the short tee, 308 from the long tee. Here's a view from the long tee, 308 foot. It does play a little more difficult than that. There is a lot of elevation change. And moving on to the short tee, 209 feet. Uphill basically all the way. You will notice on the right hand side of the screen there are some tall weeds to where if you turn your shot over too much, you could end up in there, and that would not be fun. You can also see that this is a hayfield, and unfortunately it's not mowed down quite as much as I would like, but we made the best with what we had. There is a path cut through the whole entire area that you can get through, and you can see in the background here there is a fence. That fence will play OB if you shoot over that fence, and the basket looking back toward the tee pads there. Moving on to hole 6, our only par 4 on the front 9. From the long tee, we will be looking at 417 feet. Also like to call this particular hole the graveyard hole, and you can see why. 417 feet from the long tees. Short tees play at 340 feet. Wide open bomber shot, all downhill into that clearing that you see at the bottom there, located in between the trees. If you do happen to miss that opening, there is a little bit of trouble to the right and to the left that could cause some issues, but it's basically straightforward. You hit the gap in the middle of the trees and you should be good. Again, that's 340 feet from the short tees, 417 feet from the long tees. This is our longest hole on the front 9. And you can see there where the basket will be located. And we will take a look back up the hill towards the tee pads. Hole 7, par 3. There is only one tee on this hole as well. View from the tee pad, it is 239 feet. Just a simple hyzer. There is a little bit of elevation change when you get down toward the basket. The basket will sit right behind this tree that you see on the left. There are 2 trees back there, and the basket's kind of nestled in between those 2 trees. Just a pretty simple hyzer shot for most people. And there you see the stake for the basket. And we'll turn around and give you a view back toward the tee box. That's hole 7. Hole 8, we'll play 249 from the long tees and 172 from the short tees. Here's a view from the long tee. The basket will sit over on the left-hand side. It's out of view right now. And moving on to the view from the short tees at 172 feet. Still cannot see the basket from this tee area. Just going to have a big sky hyzer here. The basket will be surrounded by trees. There's a little bit of junk up there, so if you do shoot long, you could end up in a little bit of trouble. But as long as you stay out in the clear, you should be good. Should be a pretty simple shot. 172 from shorts and 249 from longs. There is a fence behind the basket and to the right of the basket that will play OB as well. And our final hole on the front 9. Hole 9 will be a par 3. The view from the long tee pad will be at 300 feet. And moving up to the short tee pad, the distance here is 214 feet. And we will take a walk down into this little valley here. You can see the creek on your left-hand side that actually will wrap all the way around the basket. This is Peninsula Green. The creek will play OB in all areas around the basket. You can get a little better view of the creek on the right-hand side from here, but all water will be OB on this hole. And there you see the stake where the basket will be located. Again, that's 214 feet from short tees, 300 feet from long tees. And your view back toward the tee pads. That brings our total par for the front 9 to 28. It's 2,007 feet from shorts, 2,503 feet from longs. You're welcome to scan that QR code and get registered. July 23rd. Hope to see a lot of you out there.